Is it better to have a healed veteran or a broken prodigy? That is the terrifying question echoing through the minds of every single person wearing red pinstripes today. Welcome back, guys. We are standing at a crossroads in Clearwater, Florida, where the sun is shining, but the shadows looming over the Philadelphia Phillies' future just got a little bit longer and a whole lot darker. You know the feeling, that specific kind of anxiety that hits you right in the gut when the news drops. It's that moment where you want to scream in excitement because your ace is back on the mound, but you're too busy holding your breath because the next big thing might be dealing with something chronic. It is a classic good news, bad news situation, but the weight of the bad news feels like it's tipping the scales in a dangerous direction. We need to talk about the absolute roller coaster of emotions coming out of the Phillies camp this week. On one hand, we have the resurrection of an absolute warrior. Zack Wheeler, the man who has carried this rotation on his back for years, is finally throwing off a mound again after surgery. It's the kind of update that makes you want to book your playoff tickets right now. But then, just as the adrenaline starts pumping, we get hit with a reality check that feels like a cold bucket of water. Aidan Miller, the golden boy, the #1 prospect, the kid who is supposed to be the future face of this franchise. We found out that his minor back soreness isn't just a one-time thing. It's a pattern. And in the world of professional baseball, patterns involving backs are rarely just nagging things. They are sirens wailing in the distance. This isn't just about injury reports, folks. This is about the fragility of hope. We spend all winter dreaming about the prospects, watching highlight reels, and convincing ourselves that the farm system is going to save us. And then, before a single meaningful pitch is thrown in the Grapefruit League, we find out that the organization might have been hiding the severity of Miller's condition since last autumn. Why was he really pulled from the Arizona Fall League? We were told it was just general wear and tear. Now, the truth comes out. It was the back. Again. This changes the entire complexion of the spring. It shifts the narrative from development to damage control. We are looking at a scenario where the immediate present looks brighter because of Wheeler, but the long-term future just got a massive question mark slapped onto it. Let's dig deeper, because to understand why this Aidan Miller news is sending shivers down spines, you have to look at the history of back injuries in baseball. We aren't just talking about a sore hamstring or a jammed finger, though we know Brandon Marsh is dealing with that, and Gabriel Rincones Jr. has his knee issues. Backs are different. Backs are the engine of a baseball swing. When you hear recurring back soreness for a top prospect who hasn't even cracked the big leagues yet, you can't help but think of the ghosts of prospects past. Think about David Wright across the division, a superstar whose career was tragically cut short and diminished by spinal stenosis. I'm not saying Miller is there yet. Thankfully, reports say there is no structural damage, but the fear is valid. The history of power hitters with bad backs is a graveyard of what-ifs. Now, contrast that with the trajectory of Zack Wheeler. This is a man who has defied the odds before. Remember when he first came over? There were questions about his durability then too. But Wheeler has turned into a machine. Seeing him throw 21 pitches off a mound, fastballs, 2-seamers, hitting the glove with good velocity, that is vintage Wheeler. It reminds me of the way Roy Halladay used to approach his rehabs, methodical, intense, and strictly business. Manager Rob Thompson said the session went well, the ball flight was good, and he felt great. That is the stabilizing force this team needs. In the history of this franchise, whenever the rotation is in chaos, the season spirals. But when you have an anchor like Wheeler progressing from 90 feet to 120 feet, and now to the mound, it settles the entire ecosystem of the clubhouse. However, the juxtaposition here is brutal. You have a 35-year-old pitcher recovering from thoracic outlet syndrome surgery, a procedure that has ended careers for guys like Matt Harvey, and he looks like he's beating the timeline. Then you have the young buck, the kid who should be the healthiest guy in the room, unable to stay on the field. It flips the script on how we view youth versus experience. Usually you rely on the kids to be the durable ones while you nurse the veterans. Here, the Phillies are in a bizarre universe where the veteran coming off major surgery is the one providing optimism, while the prospect is the one providing dread. It forces us to look at the training staff and the drafting process. Did they know about Miller's back issues before? Is this something that was flagged in his medicals? These are the questions that turn a simple injury update into a forensic investigation of the front office's decision-making. Let's break down the impact of this, because the ripple effects are massive. First, let's look at the cap hit of hope. The Phillies are banking on Aidan Miller not just to be a player, but to be a star who provides surplus value on a rookie contract. In the modern MLB, you cannot sustain a payroll filled with $300 million contracts without young, cheap talent performing at an all-star level. If Miller's back turns into a chronic issue that delays his arrival or saps his power, the Phillies' financial flexibility for the next 5 years takes a hit. They might have to spend money in free agency to plug a hole that Miller was supposed to fill for free. That changes the strategy for the trade deadline. It changes the strategy for next winter. On the flip side, let's project the Wheeler scenario. Thompson mentioned a possible return to a major league mound in 6 weeks. That puts him potentially back in the rotation by late April. If Wheeler returns and is even 85% of the ace he was, the Phillies' playoff odds skyrocket. A rotation without Wheeler is a scramble. A rotation with him is a fortress. But what if he rushes it? We know the Phillies aren't putting a hard timeline on it, which is smart, but the pressure is there. If Wheeler suffers a setback because he's trying to compensate for a rotation that needs him, the window for this core group could slam shut faster than we think. The margin for error in the NL East is razor thin. You have the Braves and the Mets constantly reloading. You cannot afford to have your ace on the shelf until June. And let's talk about the voice of the fans right now. I've been reading the forums, checking the comments, and the fan base is split down the middle. Half of you are ecstatic, posting fire emojis about Wheeler's bullpen session, already calculating his Cy Young odds. The other half? You guys are furious about the lack of transparency regarding Miller. Why did it take Bryce Harper, of all people, spilling the beans for us to realize Miller was hurt? Why did the team hide the Arizona Fall League issue under the guise of general soreness? This lack of trust between the front office and the fan base is dangerous. It creates a toxic environment where every day-to-day injury is assumed to be a season-ending catastrophe. The chemistry in the clubhouse might be fine, but the chemistry between the team and the city is being tested. If Miller doesn't play in a Grapefruit League game soon, the panic meter is going to break the glass. So, where does this leave us? We are left holding two very different realities in our hands. In one hand, we have the resilience of Zack Wheeler, a testament to hard work and modern medicine, inching closer to reclaiming his throne on the mound. His progress is the fuel that will drive this team through the early months of the season. It is the proof that this window is still open, that the ambition to win a World Series is still alive and kicking. In the other hand, we have the cautionary tale of Aidan Miller, a reminder that potential is nothing without health. His recurring back issues are a dark cloud that refuses to dissipate, casting a shadow over the excitement of the next generation. This is the cruel beauty of baseball. It gives and it takes away in the same breath. We can celebrate the return of the king while worrying about the fate of the prince. The next few weeks are going to be critical. We need to see how Wheeler responds to the intensity of live batters. We need to see if Miller can simply get on the field and take a swing without grimacing. The silence from the organization regarding the severity of Miller's past issues has been deafening, and now that the truth is out, the scrutiny will be intense. They cannot hide him anymore. The spotlight is on the training room just as much as it is on the diamond. I want to hear from you guys. This is the most important part of the conversation. Are you buying the optimism on Wheeler? Or are you too distracted by the red flags surrounding Aidan Miller? Do you trust the front office when they say there is no structural damage? Or have you been burned too many times before? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let's get a real debate going. Don't forget to like this video if you appreciate the honesty, subscribe to the channel for daily updates that cut through the noise, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a breaking story. We are in this together, through the rehabs and the setbacks. Until next time, keep your head up, Philly.